They're gonna go for the
No,
puck.
they go puck. All right.
Okay.
I mean, there's no catch, right? Like, Phoenix has no catch. You have to catch the puck with Doom, and your Hoodwink's not going to hold her down. So I think they're just playing against that, but you don't have that arrow combo. Probably a DP support now as well on the 4. Actually, do you want a DP4 here or a DP5 with a Shadow Demon's open?
I think there's more reason for a Mirana, John. Now you've got the egg to take care of with Mirana. Is it...
Safe lane DK?
Look,
okay,
let's
let's go with your Mirana theory. Safe lane DK, off lane DP mid puck, then you can fit your Mirana. I just don't know about that. Like, your win condition as a DK versus TB it's not amazing. You have to play super fast with that push, and once you lose some of that momentum, the TB just takes over.
I mean, I don't disagree with you. I mean, I personally don't really love the idea of a support DP, if I'm completely honest. But, you know, let's see what they have up their sleeve. I'm going to stop bringing up this Mirana pickup, even though it would probably be the perfect pick to make here. Phoenix, couple more bans to go. 2 more, to be exact. What do they believe? Do they believe it's still a support waiting to be picked up? No, they'll go for the position 1 ban outs. They'll get rid of the Luna. That's one you brought up earlier with the Shadow Demon combination. Can be quite deadly. Any other position 1s that we should know about, John, that enjoy the SD?
Naga to an extent, but Naga's a pretty dead hero. Yeah, Naga's a pretty dead hero, so probably not. Nothing really. Like, it feels like illusion spamming itself is, outside of Terrorblade and PL, not particularly great. So I don't think they're going to build off that Shadow Demon. What I am keen on is... honestly, I don't know. This draft from Aster.Aries just feels so weird. They're playing heavy flux with her opener. They have no natural I mean, I want to go back to the Verana. Like, how do you not pick it up when it's just not bad? Like, what does the Shadow Demon do in this combination? I just don't see anything. They ban out a Magnus last as well. Probably expecting that Doom mid, which is fair. Expecting maybe an off lane or mid flex coming through last for Phoenix. They've got pretty decent options. I'd say no option for TA. Maybe one of the Spirit Brothers could do well here. There are silences from Aster.Aries, but one defensive item kind of crushes off that control, so you can just kind of go do what you want. Ember against the Shadow Demon illusion spam could be good. Void Spirit to give you some early momentum as well could be nice. They do need something to set up for the egg, as it's not there. And I forgot to make the pun joke. It's Phoenix. We've got Mike LaPhoenix. They've got the Phoenix as well. So there you go, Mike.
Thank you, John. I had picked up on that one earlier on, I must admit, but thank you for that. Thanks for pointing it out, as if we needed to hear it. Aster.Aries, 10 seconds left for this final pickup. I'm very curious to see where this draft's going. This will kind of reveal all the answers for us. They go for the Morphling pickup. So it is looking like a support DP. You're probably right, unless we're seeing a support DK or a support puck. It could happen, but it does seem like we are seeing a support DP. And there's your Void Spirit coming out. Fair enough. 2 very unique drafts, I must say, John. I wasn't expecting this, especially from Aster.Aries, but who came out with the better draft?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I feel like Morphling is just a better hero against a Terrorblade simply because you can take Metamorphosis, but you're not pressured to always be under meta. And we have seen this matchup like literally earlier in the day. I think in the series you produced, right, there was a Morphling against Terrorblade matchup and the Morphling won out. So I think if Aster.Aries can stall out the timings, it could feel a little bit better there for Ulu, especially once he hits his E-Blade timing and kind of run from there. But for Phoenix, I think it's easier to execute this kind of lineup. Mind you, I say that, but they don't have the setup for the egg. They don't really have the best single target control out of Doom and the Remnant coming through, so it can be hard to lock in that. I'm laughing now because I see that Aster.Aries' puck player is called Phoenix, so it's gonna be pretty confusing. Phoenix on Aster.Aries, and an actual Phoenix hero on Phoenix with Mike LaPhoenix. It's even worse now, Mike. Jeez.
It's going to be a hell of a ride, John. That's for sure. Always enjoy the names we see out of China. Some very unique stuff. It makes it very, very complicated at times to cast these games, but Always a bit of fun. We'll get into it very, very soon. Game number 1 between these two, and I'm curious to see who does manage to come out on top in this game 1. Whether we will see another 2-0, whether we see a 2-1 this time around. And in fact, the game has begun. So we'll switch over to that right now.
兄弟们到点了。
他们说什么我
Yeah,
也
and
不会去了。
It should be. Again, I find it actually pretty interesting that these kinds of drafts pop out from China. Like they've definitely deviated from what we've seen in 2019. 2020 was kind of keeping up with the meta elsewhere, not too far off. But this is the biggest split up I've seen so far from what we were seeing from China. Like and in terms of what everyone else is doing, right? Like Shadow Demon with no Mirana, DK with no Mirana, the Morphling coming through very recently again for China. It's just nice to see these different heroes coming out. Now it's just all down to execution, because it's just so different. Like especially for Aster.Aries, I think when you run this DP DK, you really have to look for push. And I guess what they're looking for is maybe DK illusions with Shadow Demon if you want some illusion base. Like Dragon forms up, clone the DK, push a tower. That could be how you play that here for Aster.Aries. So that's going to be some timings they have to play. I think we have to look for towers to melt. By the 10-minute mark, you want to take care of one of these side lanes and then look for mid early on, just so you start to get that map control going. If you don't manage to find a map control, we've seen what a Terrorblade and Doom does with free farm. It does not get pretty for the opposing team.
No, it certainly doesn't, John. That game earlier, by the way, that you talked about with the Morphling beating out a TB, that was Dust that we just watched last series around, John. So that might kind of explain why that happened. So Dust just kind of been out of control today in terms of his performance. See if they can kind of replicate it here on the side of Aster.Aries. It wasn't that easy of a game for him, I might add. It was quite a difficult game, and I think this game is not going to be as easy as you'd hope for Aster.Aries.
Yeah, it's like, even considering the fact that there's no hold for the puck, there are some. I mean, there's some decent enough combinations you can throw out. So I think Aster.Aries will have to play on edge. It looks like we're still having consistent server issues. Rather unfortunate. Aster.Aries going for the mass disconnects, and even Yi riding there from Phoenix going for a disconnect as well. The server has not been friendly today, Mike.
No, it has not, John. Thank you for bringing that up. And it has been a little bit rough around the edges recently, hasn't it? What can you do? It's TI Qualifier. I swear, it's every year around this time. When TI Qualifiers start and there's games happening everywhere, the servers just, they start acting up. They start acting a little bit funny, and it does get a little bit rough for everyone involved, obviously, with all these disconnections. But we have the reconnections now. Should be good to go. So talk to me about this top lane, John. Ulu there with his DP. That is a POS 5 DP, by the way. They're going to be up against Stormy and Planet. Who do you favor in this laning phase?
There are ways to play aggressive. It's not as clear-cut anymore for Morphling because of the added armor on Doom. I'd say this is a pretty passive lane, particularly for Aries. I think they've got to sit back and farm. Planet's doing the right thing, just getting the pull off. Doesn't grab the range creep though, so it's not as much EXP, but still going to be able to hit a good spike into your level 2. Siamese is just trying to keep up and kind of prevent that. Eventually has to give it up. The Doom should feel comfy here. You play with Devoured. Morphling also won't be threatened unless you get good bushwhack off, so I think it's basically a farming lane. Like, neither side has really aggressive support duos. You're just going to look to build up in these cores and kind of hope someone missteps, but overall, you're not going to look for aggressive openings. You just want to farm, want to hit the point, and you can see Ulu, he's not very pleased.
No, I don't blame him, John. I mean, this is a lower bracket series we're watching here. Loser has to leave the TI qualifiers. It's not going to be the greatest feeling in the world that these internet connection issues are still happening. That is unfortunately the case. In fact, all 3 cores on the side of Phoenix Gaming are the ones disconnecting here. It's a bit unfortunate. Hopefully, it kind of gets a bit more stable as time goes on. We saw it in the last series as well. It started off pretty rough, but eventually they were able to get a stable connection going. Hopefully that's kind of the same case here for both teams. They could just kind of get it together.
You do have to go ahead and can take a look at the mid now. You know, Phoenix versus Yi. Phoenix Yi. This is going to be the confusing lane with the names, but Phoenix up against Yi on mid. Puck versus Void Spirit. This one going out Void Spirit. We've seen this matchup multiple times. Void Spirit can kind of pull ahead, especially if the heal lands his Spirit out. You know, you manage to harass out the Puck. The Puck does have mobility on hand to snipe some runes, so Phoenix is going to have to play around that strength of the Puck with mobility. Overall, you're not going to be completely zoned out, but you should expect the Void Spirit to have a smooth farming ride. Puck's not going to lag too far, but at the same time, he can't really do much about the Void Spirit holding that lane.
Of course, bot lane as well. Yuna. Yeah, for a bit of a disruption out into ZZQ, he's going to be just fine. You do have DK there up against Shiro as well. And now the Dragon Knight, he doesn't really struggle very much. You know, the Davion, he's a pretty healthy guy. Still only level 1 Dragon's Blood, but just about to hit level 3. Not really much you can do in the way of harassing him out of this laning phase. In fact, Shiro, Korea, not really micromanaged very well. Does end up going down to Yuna. Now a bit of a disruption out as well, but they haven't got the Dragon Tail out, so they can't really harass Shiro very much with these illusions. And quite frankly, with how high his base armor is, they don't do any damage anyway. So he just kind of farms them. No problem.
Yeah, they just kind of tickle right now. I think in this lane, you're not looking for Dragon Tail combos, although ZZQ.
Chris dive away. Shadow Poison is not going to connect, surprisingly enough, and it wouldn't have mattered anyway. He was already TPing out. He would have been just fine. Yuna, he's just going to keep stacking up these ancient stacks. Fair enough, you do have... Actually, who is clearing these out?
I think it's going to be a team effort. You might prioritize your Morphling there, but I guess with a DK plus Puck, you can do it. Like, you just throw all your heroes on hand, clear it out. Could be a bit risky. Maybe you play with illusions. That's where Yuna factors in a bit more. But otherwise, it should be your DK or your Morphling. Ideally, your Morphling to get that flash farm, to get that E-Blade time we saw last time. You're chasing down Siamese a bit, but is still a DP. No Spirit Siphons up, so it is risky for him to stay here.
That it is. Still just pulling creep waves away here, Phoenix. A really good job of just not going for that kind of dual lane matchup in that top lane. Just completely avoiding that altogether. How's our mid lane going? Phoenix? Currently behind Yi at the moment. This Void Spirit completely just free farming this mid lane, no problems whatsoever. It is kind of hard for Phoenix to actually harass him out as well. That Resonant Pulse, you have that shield up, it makes it so much harder to abuse that high physical damage that the Puck can pump out. Look at this, even the Aether Remnant just connecting every time. Just getting that harassment trade in from Yi. He's actually doing a better job than Phoenix is right now on the Puck.
Yeah, he's also finding all the last hits. Every single time he trades, it just comes out favorably. Yi just setting up that mid. Again, it's just a matchup. Puck does not feel great. Magic damage is good, but the uptime of your spells isn't the best for really finding kills. You need your right click, and Void Spirit just takes away a lot of that. So you don't necessarily have too many openings there on mid. Even the side lanes, like very even trade with the DKTB, which is not ideal for the TB, but it's also not like you're zoning out the TB here as the DK. Like, you're still giving openings, you're still farming solo. It's a solo versus solo lane right now. Supports are open to walk around the map, and ZZQ is just keeping constant watch on that triangle, but he can't quite contest it yet. So they are at least aware, still aware that the stacks are being built. I think they want to commit ward, but they're not quite ready yet, as they know there's sentries still though.
Yeah, Dreamcoil out. They've got Shiro down at the bot lane. The TB gonna fall very darn fast, and he's gone. Aster.Aries setting up a very nice kill down at that bot lane. Shiro just had no help around him.
Yeah, they left him alone for so long. ZZQ's just constantly playing with triangle. They see Phoenix.
Try and jump in. Yi. The Remnant does not land. Phoenix, he might be able to find his way out of this. Orbs the other way, but they have the damage. The Astral Step, more than enough. Yuna still getting vision from the low ground, but now he may suffer as they do chase him down. You've got Davion coming in from the side to try and help out. So they do go after ZZQ, but a nice Aether Remnant is going to hold down Yuna. That'll be another kill out for the Void Spirit. Rather, it was actually Shiro who picked up the kill. So he died and ran all the way back to the jungle. And by the time he got back, he actually got a kill for himself on that Shadow Demon. It's a very nice hit from Team Phoenix. And, Aster.Aries, I suppose not too bad overall for them. Still a 2 for 2.
Yeah, they're getting some space out for the Morphling. You're still ahead there in terms of the core matchup. Pretty free lane for Morphling, not being zoned out by the Doom. Has a ton of denies as well. He's slowing down the Doom's progress in terms of EXP. Always good to see. And Ulu's already got the Morbid Mask up, so he can hit the jungle whenever he wants. But the same thing happens here for the TB. So it's almost that point where both safely in cores, just AFK farm. One thing for Aster.Aries, we talked about push potential. When you're running DP support, that push potential is a lot slower. You're not hitting the exorcism timing all too fast. Siamese is still really far off from the level 6. You're not going to get that ridiculous push anytime soon, and that just means Phoenix doesn't have to worry as much. They can just clump around their own siege creep, look for a shove. They're going for that top tier 1, I believe. Aster.Aries are sort of clumped up on the bot tier 1 as well. Just both sides going for a bit of a trade, but slightly quicker for Aries with a dragon form up.
It certainly is. Yuna just about to scan out ZZQ. Not quite yet. ZZQ is trying to hide, but now they found him. Icarus dive away, but they're going to know exactly where he's gone. He'll try to Sunray off the map, but TP just coming off cooldown now. Is it going to be enough? Yes, it will.
On the edge of the channel there. Nice snag of that double damage away from Phoenix. And that's just so important for the puck. You need every power rune with your mobility on hand. So
top lane.
An opportunity to be aggressive, although
Siamese being caught out. He's going to try and Spirit Siphon his way to victory here, but there's no chance in hell as long as he's around. And that Void Spirit, he just deletes people at the moment. That's his first kill of the game, but the third he's been involved in on this Void Spirit. He's been a very active man.
Oh yeah, and that's the one thing with a Void Spirit. Like, he can just constantly run around. He's not tied into a big cooldown like, say, Dream Coil. So he can look for solo targets much more. Puck, there's some pressure for bigger fights, although he hasn't really found a big Dream Coil opportunity yet. It's just down to how Phoenix been pretty disciplined, splitting up across the map, these single target pickoffs as 2 instead of going as 3 or 4. And that just means there's no real turnaround opportunity for Aster.Aries to maximize their spells. They are still getting a decent amount of farm. Your DK's farmed up pretty well. In fact, all the cores on the map right now are within a few hundred gold of each other. So no one really having a big advantage yet, which is actually pretty good for Aster.Aries as playing against a Doom. They're playing against a TB, which normally just clears out stacks really fast, gets networked really fast as well. So Aster.Aries keeping up is a good sign. They kind of need more. I think you expect them to maybe do something with their early Dream Coils. Again, they haven't found the opportunity in Phoenix. They're the ones smoking up. They're the ones looking to make jumps. They've got Doom ready to go. They just need a target to jump to.
They do. Still being very kind of passive here on the side of Aster.Aries. I suppose this draft doesn't really allow them to get that aggressive early on. They kind of have really nice mid-game timing, but they've got to wait till around that point of the game. At least you've got your Exorcism coming up now as Siamese. He does go ahead and buy out the Tomb. It is going to leave Yuna a little bit behind on this SD, but he's going to take the mid lane instead and just go ahead and farm that up. Feels like the Exorcism timing is just going to be so important here for Aster.Aries to really start taking objectives. So the hero just doesn't really do much if he doesn't have that ulti up. He is heading down bot though, surprisingly enough, where you don't really have a tier 1 tower. But even with that level 6 timing coming up now, I don't think they're really going to commit to a push yet. They're going to wait it out a bit.
Yeah, I'd say maybe they were just keeping an eye on their Morphling and want to kind of get him jumped. I mean, there's no TP access point from Phoenix, so a bit strange. Probably just wandering around a bit. Happens to all of us in Dota 2. The side of Phoenix kind of enjoy that, though. Like, if you're not applying pressure on the towers with your DK Dragon form with the EXO, they're the ones really working the map better. Doom #1 in net worth now. just by nature. All 3 cores, in fact, from Phoenix top 3 net worth. So it's a slight margin. And that's enough to kind of push them over the edge. And as long as they keep that pace, it could be good. Aster.Aries do finally smoke up, though. Smoke this tree.
They have. And who are they going to run into? It's going to be ZZQ, but he's going to Icarus dive out of there. And now the immediate TP rotation's down. They want to try and fight this. Yi already in position to make the jump in. X's them up. They're going to try and go after the mid-tier 1 tower here. Aster.Aries. Looks like there's going to really be no contestation. They just take it. Phoenix, that's a big loss to have. Just allowing that tier 1 tower to drop, but I suppose with their draft, they don't really have the necessities to be able to fight back against all the ultis of Aster.Aries. They just let it go down.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty smart play. They know that once those spells are on cooldown, that's their opening. So they just kind of have to let it go. Play around when Aster.Aries don't have those spells, and look for that opportunity to jump in. They're still farming aggressively under Terrorblade. Have to watch top, though, as there's a bit of a rotation.
Shiro, he's going to go for the Sunder out, but it may not save him. In fact, never mind, it will. Buys him enough time to back off. ZZQ gets the Sunray out just to give him a kind of a bit of a reset. His bot lane, Doom is out. They found the DP, but that is going to be a position 5 DP you're finding. Domi won't even be necessary. They'll have the sharpshooter. A lot of commitment for that that pos 5 Death Prophet, but I guess it's just a free kill for the side of Phoenix.
I don't know if you really wanted to hand that to Planet necessarily. I mean, the Doom used Doom. The guy feels like he wants to kill, you know? He commits a very big spell for it. Maybe a bit overkill. Probably expecting more people around the triangle to back up the DP. So I guess they just want to secure it, but I think in that way you're not getting the full value for Phoenix. Probably not going to hurt you too much, though, as you are still building up elsewhere, and your Doom's still going to have the Devourer farm to play with. Side of Aster.Aries, I mean, they've been stalling out long enough that their Morphling just has been basically not a part of the game. It's just constantly AFK farming, going into triangle, trying to look for their stacks, and just kind of clearing out what he can, building into, I believe, the E-Blade on Ulu, but he hasn't quite queued it up. Still, he's got a lot of stacks, and no one's there to contest. I'm surprised. Phoenix does know the stacks are there, but they never really came in, or at least planted some wards to know when to jump, so a lot of gold just freely given here towards Ulu.
This is going to take a lot of time, though, John. A hell of a lot of time. That might be why ZZQ didn't come over, or didn't tell his team to make the rotation. It's like, who's going to take it from the side of Aster.Aries? But Ulu eventually, slowly but surely, is going to be able to grab it. It's down towards the bot side. Yeah, he's been caught out. They get the coil there. Phoenix wants to go for that silence, but Domi, he's in now, trying to help out Siamese. The one being targeted, but he will survive at least a little bit longer as Yi is the one to drop. Now the egg's out. They try to chase down the DK. But he's going to be just fine. So a 1-for-1 trade, but definitely a much more valuable trade for Aster.Aries as they want to go for more now. A nice bushwhack out from Ulu on the reinitiation. In with the Dragon Tail and now the silence. Phoenix gets a 2-man silence, but it does cost him his own life as Shiro. He'll go for the Sunder and try to fight back, but there's your disruption now. Take the illusions away from Shiro. Take them for yourself and take the TB out. As Ulu, he'll go for a bit more. He'll find ZZQ. That's going to be a great team fight out for Aster.Aries. It looked like they had a chance to kind of counter-initiate, but it just didn't work out. Phoenix Gaming not able to make this team fight work, and it does feel like Aster.Aries, if this keeps up, will slowly start to take over this game.
Yeah, and that's Ulu joining in without the full E-Blade yet. It's just the Eagle Horn. You know, it's Eagle Song. It's not even the full nuke potential coming through, and it's already looking a bit worrying here for Phoenix. Again, big issue with her lineup is you get the egg off, that's nice. Where's your follow-up? Where's the hold? Like, it's all on Bushwhack on Hoodwink, and it's not like you're always going to find a perfect position to get 2 tree heroes by a tree to maximize the egg. And if you don't manage to chain stun them, then they're just highly mobile. They have to throw a lot of resources to get the puck. They didn't have Doom in the last fight as well, and it is back up here on Phoenix. So this is maybe the time they can look to reinitiate. No Dragon Form Shang-Chi on the DK. So it's a bit easier to lock in, but it's going to be off cooldown soon. And it feels like Phoenix, they might be jumping the gun a bit. They need more on their Terrorblade to really be big here.
Feels like they do need a lot more time. And maybe once the BKBs, I'm sure could start getting a bit more involved with this team, but well, up until that point, he probably wants to relax his mid lane. Yi, he's been caught out again by that same coil, but they won't have enough to blow him up. Even with the shotgun there from Ulu, it's nowhere near enough damage. They don't really fully commit either. They were just very cautious about how far they went into that mid lane. They were right to be cautious because he did have both supports around to help him out just in case. It was, I suppose, a bit of a waste of the abilities being thrown out though.
Yeah, it's a bit of an opening, and you have to remember Void Spirit has the full urn upgrade now, so healing regen's not going to be an issue when you jump the Morphling down the line.
Got Siamese, he's dropping quite fast, we'll go for the Siphon out, but with the Spirit Vessel there, it will be nowhere near enough. The Phoenix Gaming taking another pos 5 DP kill once again. It doesn't really feel like they'll be able to capitalize much more though. That'll be about it for them, at least for now. Aster.Aries, they might look for a way back into the team fight. Like, there you go, Dragon Form pop, they found ZZQ, they want to try and punish this Phoenix, and even with the Bushwhack, it won't be enough to save, they'll find another.
It's a support pickup, not the biggest kill, but you take what you can get, you punish him for getting the D ward, and you're immediately getting the D ward on that ramp area. So the vision coming out from Phoenix, not going to be there. Opens up a bit of a rush. They've got Exo as well. They commit the Dragon forms up. Phoenix aren't aware this is happening. They had a ward watching ramp. They didn't see the full committal. Maybe scouted out with the illusion, but doesn't feel like the reaction's fast enough yet.
Roshan is certainly going quite fast. They are making their way over. Yi, he'll get a bit of vision now. With the tree being thrown out. Phoenix, he's going to jump in for the coil straight off the bat into the Doom. They try to blow him up, but no, the Doom's there. They got the Morphling with it. Now the Sharpshooter's out. They're going to try and blow up Siamese, and they do. And Roshan, it's been left very, very low. But can Phoenix actually finish it in time? The buybacks are there. The egg committed, but the egg is very, very early and might just get bursted down, and does. Yi, though, in with a big Bushwhack out. Now Ulu's in to the Roshan pit, but nobody's taken it down yet. Sunder is there. Is it going to matter though? Shiro looks like he might just get blown up. Not quite though. He's still trying to fight back, but eventually Ulu does take care of him. Now they might just lose Tavion, and well, he's still alive actually. He'll chase down the Hoodwink as they even found another. In the disruption, they'll go after Yi. They want that Void Spirit. They might just be able to get him as the silence just lasting forever. Meanwhile, Ulu, he does pick up the Aegis and they blow up Planet. They got Shang-Chi in the end. Yi, he's the last one left here for Phoenix Gaming, and he's gone. A very prolonged kind of team fight out. But it was a 5-for-3 trade, 2 buybacks committed by Aster.Aries. But they got what they came for, John. They got that Aegis up.
That's a huge win for Aster.Aries there. The buybacks were only on support, so it's not the biggest loss. And Phoenix just kind of jumped the gun. The Phoenix on Phoenix diving in that far for the egg, he needed to be in the pit. Right? Like, that's the ideal spot in that scenario. Be in the pit. The Bushwhack follow-up looked good. It's just a bit too late. I think if the egg actually got full channel, that fight would have been a very different story. Just the ZZQ needs to tone it down a bit, find these better positions to maximize the egg, and kind of go from there, because the egg is really their big team fight on Phoenix. They don't have anything else to give them that AoE control. Maybe when you get the Void Spirit Ags and the silence is in play, you can kind of go that route, get some additional control with the silence, but before then, it's actually all about ZZQ, so he has to be a bit more careful there. And Aster.Aries, they're hitting some big spikes. Ulu's #1 in that fort now. He's going for a Linken's to block the Doom off. That's going to feel really painful for Phoenix. Like, they just want to immediately Doom the Morph. We saw that last game, but even then, last fight, even then, wasn't enough to hold back Ulu. And now, once the Linken's up, I don't know how you handle this Morphling. Like, Spirit Vessel's nice. They haven't had enough damage to really rip through the Morphling in the past couple of fights now.
Radiant structures are fortified.
That bottom tier 2 tower set to fall quite quickly here.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
That's exactly what will happen.
Radiant's bottom tower
Top lane. Oh, Phoenix, he found the Hoodwink.
is under attack.
Coil out, they're gonna get him. Planet. It's gone. Aster.Aries picking up another kill for themselves. It'll be the 13th of the game. As they've smoked up on the bottom side as well. They want to try and rotate towards the top side of the map and see if they can find anyone else. Be some bad timing though. They just got their BKB up on Dolmy, but he's not going to be around for this team fight. They find Shiro. They saw him for a second, but he's already by that tier 2 tower. ZZQ, he's going to run past as well, but it looks like they are not going to be able to scout him out in time. Pretty unfortunate timing for Aster.Aries.
Yeah.
They aren't able to get
they
anyone.
still hold a triangle though. And they get some forward vision triangle. And they're pretty alright with that. Like even if they don't catch a kill, they are forcing the movements out, and Phoenix is the one having to play defensive. Can line up for this push. And again, Phoenix wants to fight back against this. They need a good egg to come through. There's only so many reflections the Terrorblade can do. And Morphling with the Terrorblade form, when you pop Metamorphosis, you feel pretty scary up front there if you're dealing with that.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Are scattered.
Bushwhack gonna lock him down. Sharpshooter coming in as well. They've got a lot of damage to try and burst this guy, and they might just get him. But no disruption. Was there in time. He'll wait for him out of there, and looks like they might be able to escape here. Aster.Aries not gonna go down without a fight. They're out. They will survive.
Yeah, that's tough. Really good position from Yuna to save. And that's one thing we didn't really talk about, the save potential, that disruption. For a hero like Morphling, just buys you so much time to get your reaction up. And Phoenix may be a bit slow on getting that Doom off again. They had the prime opportunity to just try to break through the Lincolns and get the Doom, but they're having to play so much more cautiously with all these defensive tools up. And Aster.Aries, and I love this. They smoke back. They're looking for an opportunity.
Oh, nice Dragon Tail out. They got a big target. Dolmy is gone. That shotgun will still burst him down, even as the Doom. Onto that tier 2 mid tower they go, and there's not really going to be much in the way of stopping this push happening from Aster.Aries. In fact, they go forward for more, but Shang-Chi unable to find any other target to Dragon Tail up. But Aries, they could try for the high ground, and they are indeed going to give it a crack. But why the hell not? You got Meta on Ulu. He won't pop it yet. Phoenix is forward. He's got a nice call out onto the Phoenix. Sharpshooter there. Back towards the DP. They do burst him down, so no exorcism available. Shiro, he'll try onto Ulu, but they are on the retreat now as the egg is going to be committed. But they are already out of there just fine. Sure, you lost the POS 5 DP, but you can always come back at a later time once that exorcism is back up. They don't really lose out on much here for Aster.Aries.
Yeah, it's almost the same thing we saw from the last game in the previous series. Mid tier 2 gone, bot tier 2 gone, outpost taken by Aster.Aries at around 25 minutes. Top lane still completely protected. I think Aster.Aries might look for the bot set of racks if they want to, or they could just look to clear out all the outer towers. They could play either way. They've only got a 2k lead, so it's not a massive lead by any count. There's still enough here for Phoenix to play with. It's just you're seeing the issues of their execution. Like, you come out, you get the egg. What do you have to hold people in egg range? Like, what do you have to actually make that egg a threat? There's nothing. Like, again, you only have Bushwhack and Void Spirit's spirit to hold people down, and it just doesn't feel like it's reliable enough for the egg to play a big part. So you have to play with the pick-off potential of the Void Spirit, but you don't have Ags yet. And it's just not enough burst damage at this point in time. When you have the Ags now, perhaps that gives you the control and the damage necessary to burst someone down, but it has to be a support. I think even the Shadow Demon dying before a big fight opens up way more possibilities for Phoenix, just because we've seen so many good saves coming out from Yuna. I feel like that's what they have to look at. Take care of the Shadow Demon if possible, the DP on top if you can, and they will smoke up trying to get that done.
Aster.Aries kind of nearby, and Phoenix, they're going to run the opposite way, not realizing how close they were to the opposing team. They might be able to set up on Shang-Chi, but it's become rather obvious now with that Bushwhack coming out and the Acorn shot that they were smoked up around that area. Aster.Aries, it's just a matter of whether they want to defend that mid-tier 1 tower, and Phoenix, he's going to TP into the puck. He'll make sure it's just fine. is Phoenix Gaming, well, they were smoked, have not made the jump in yet on anyone. They're thinking about it though, Yi. Might start with Siamese. And they will. They'll jump in with the silence out. They want to try and burst him down. Disruption, though, will save the day. And now instead they go into the DK. They'll get Shang-Chi, but Siamese, he's going to be all right. In fact, the big dream call out is going to hold back the rest. They did pop the exorcism, but they are not going to go for the team fight. They'll let the tier 1 tower drop. They don't seem to want to fight without their DK.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
That's going to be enough for Phoenix Gaming as well. They get the tier 1 mid. It's something. They won't they won't kind of overdo it. They'll just back out and try to catch up a bit more before they keep going with this push.
I respect the patience from Aster.Aries. They need a Dragon Tail to set up for a lot of what they do. Like, that's basically their one stun outside of I guess outside of Dream Coil and the Morphling going Strength. So it's their only real hold to line up the silences, to line up the follow-up control. And if that DK is just immediately blown up, you don't really have many options to come in to get the control, to enable your burst damage to fly through into Terrorblade. So they cut their losses, play it safe. Looks like they will wait for the next Roche. It looks like a quick one. Gonna be up relatively soon. And is up. So second Roche, yeah, just so quick. Unfortunate for Phoenix they didn't spot that after the tier 1 mid. I think they would have definitely liked to swing around and try to take that out early, but Aster.Aries could look to make use of that themselves. They don't have Exo to speed it up, but Ulu's at the point where his right-click damage is good enough to take this.
Yeah. They even have some TB illusions to help out if necessary, but they'll use those to scout out. Ulu can make his own TB illusions, if he so wishes. The question is Phoenix Gaming going to be able to contest? And they're making their way over, but it doesn't really feel like it. Siamese, he went up the hill. He might pay for it. Disruption is there, but can they actually block off the sharpshooter? No, they cannot. Nobody was willing to take the bullet, but it won't matter. They got the Aegis, they got the cheese, and they got the shards up. That's going to be more than enough for the side of Aster.Aries. They're happy to see that pos 5 DP die. Again, they can always come back another time. No problems here for this dire end.
Yeah, they're feeling confident about their scaling, which I can respect. It's just that they don't really have a massive lead. Over Phoenix, again, we've seen it swing maybe a 3k peak. It's just less than 1k now for Phoenix, bouncing back to Aster.Aries. So you don't have the item lead, especially in your puck and DK. You have taken the backseat here for the Morphling to be up and center. And that could be an issue if you keep stalling out. Like, you do want some trickle-down farm on the puck and the DK. Talking about Ags down the line to pierce through BKBs. Phoenix on the puck is saving up for, well, Dagon 5 now. So just going for the nuke damage to burn through the TB, which is fair. We've seen that quite a fair bit from puck players up against the TB. Just going for magical burst. Gonna be a while until it's farmed up. And I think even though Phoenix has lost a lot more towers and lost out in Roshan, they're not quite out of it, right? Like, Scotty's up in Shiro. That's going to hurt the Morphling's ability to maximize his strength morphing, and that just takes away a lot of the frontline presence of a morph. So as long as the TB manages to protect himself with his BKB and get the hits off, Shiro should have a pretty good chance of forcing our Morphling to just back off if he's not careful.
Planet.
Illusion.
Very close to Siamese. No Tinkerward around to get the vision over this tree line. Siamese, he'll have a quick check just to make sure. The orb, oh, he's in. Dream call out, but he's going to be completely surrounded. He'll just waiting rift away as now they jump in. Ulu right onto Shiro. They blow up Yi instead. Shiro now going to get to work onto Ulu, but he still has that Aegis the Immortal, and he's still strength morphing his way out of this. So he's fine. Sharpshooter, not going to reach either. Oof. And so they're down without their Void Spirit for another 45 seconds. Aegis still up. Cheese still available on Ulu. He'll put the cheese back in the backpack. It seems like they are going to try once again for that high ground attempt as they do get the disruption onto Shiro. Do they jump in though? No. Dolme, he's the first one in with the Doom out onto the DK. With Shang-Chi, he's burning out, but he might just be fine as now they'll chase down the Doom instead. A nice stop out. Ulu, he just holds him down and gets the job done himself. And Shaanxi, he survived. The DK is perfectly fine as now they get another disruption out. Phoenix just chipping away at the HP pool of Shiro. They almost kill off the SD now, Yuna, with the sharpshooter, but he will barely survive to boot.
Yeah, it's just close calls all over from Aster.Aries. They do manage to hold on to the high ground here from Phoenix's end. So in that sense, it's a successful defense as they don't lose a tier 3. They only lose their Doom, cutting the losses there overall. But you have to be careful. Aster.Aries, it just feels like they're not ready to back off. Aegis up, no more cheese. It looks like they kind of want to make use of that Aegis and just constantly force while the egg is down, while Doom's down, while Metamorphosis is down for a bit longer as well.
Coil
just
out.
take the tower, maybe flip the axe.
ZZQ. Gonna break the coil, but he's by the tier 4 tower, so they aren't gonna go for the dive in.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Ulu. They get the tier 3 tower, that's gonna be enough. Not willing to overextend. I say that. They do smoke up again. Oh, smoke broken, Dorme. Be careful, Dragon Tail is there. They've got the real TB. Shiro, he's burning quite fast though. He does get the BKB. And the Sunder around, and now they're trying to turn it with a big egg out. Ulu, he's going to go straight after the voice print. In fact, never mind that. They'll go after the egg. They'll take down ZZQ. Exorcism is back up after all this time. And they might be able to keep going if they really want to. But it looks like they finally had enough. And Aster.Aries, they are going to just go and get a reset back at the fountain.
Yeah, they spent way too much time outside. They do manage to get a couple of kills. Exorcism doesn't lead to too much. The tier 3 does fall. So the Rax is open for their next foray into the opposite side of the river. They should be able to get that done. Phoenix, for their part, they're not in a bad spot. They're smoked up. They know there's a bit of an opportunity with Exo down. They just need to find the heroes. They do have some good wards up front. It's just not anywhere where Ares is going to be playing
Oh, looks like they do end up finding the Shadow Demon. Yuna is going to go down. Just be one pick off though, that's the thing, right? Like we've seen Phoenix do this before. They're able to pick off a support, but they're not really able to get anything out of it. That's really one of the big problems, is that they are buying space, but that's about all they're getting right now, which, you know, maybe you can argue they really need that space at the moment, but it isn't going to change the fact that this Shadow Demon is going to be back up at any moment, and Aster.Aries are going to just start running you down again. Unless Phoenix, maybe they take advantage of it right now. Bushwhack is going to hold down Shaanxi, and they can just burst down the DK. Well, that definitely makes it a bit better of a time for Phoenix Gaming, as now maybe they could go into that mid-tier 2 tower.
They've got the option to right now. There is no follow-up Doom in case buybacks come through from Ares here. They can just go in, force the fight, knowing Doom's down, only having to worry about the egg and the meta on Shiro. Push is being stalled out, but it looks like Ares is much more keen in just holding the high ground, waiting for some of those earlier respawns. First, that does mean Phoenix should find his tower, and that gives him a little bit more reach. They can kind of jump into the triangle a little bit safer. The Roche response from Aster.Aries just hangs on the outpost now. Unfortunate for Phoenix, they can't really go for an outpost steal, as they don't really have the information up on the top jungle. So they can't quite snipe away some XP per minute just for the moment. And overall, I think Aster.Aries, they probably are unhappy about losing the DK, but in the grand scheme of things, at least it was your DK, the lowest net worth core on the map. So you're not giving as much gold towards Phoenix, say, compared to a Morphling that gets caught out and gets doomed up. Probably one of the better case scenarios there for Ares.
Still a DD rune at that top rune spot. Just sitting there. Neither team scattered it out. Looks like it might just expire. But the teams again just kind of sitting back. The net worth is just so close right now. It is still anyone's game. You haven't even gotten to the point where you found one Rax yet on the side of Aster.Aries. They are going to smoke up again. That DD rune again, you would have loved to get it, but it did expire. Roshan not going to be up yet, but we will find out in 10 seconds when it will respawn. Dewarding here from Siamese. Roshan, it's going to be about 2.5 minutes. So not an early timer at all. Phoenix Gaming, this will buy them even more time to make sure this TB gets even more farmed up. He's just going for that Lincoln Sphere now to try and kind of deal with this shotgun that's coming out from this Morphling. Which is fair enough, it does feel like he needs that added kind of the added defense. Even against the disruption, it's been quite annoying.
Yeah, it stops him from being held down, and if you break off the disruption, that just breaks up the follow-up. Even the Dragon Tail being blocked is really painful for Aster.Aries, so they don't have that big wave just jumping in, bursting down the TB. They're going to have to work harder for that kill. I am interested in seeing that build on Ulu. He's got refresh coming in, although the smoke is kind of being danced around here. They spotted Siamese just for a moment, but they don't really make the jump in. Morphling refresh. I'm trying to recall if we've seen that too often. I feel like the answer should be no, but I feel like we've seen it once and it did work. So I'm going to hang on that thread. I think we've seen that. Just enable you to morph a lot more often, and double shotgun, double E-blade is pretty good. So we'll see if it pays off when it is built up.
Might be for the double meta as well from the Terrorblade. Be very effective to have a double metamorphosis.
True. Like maybe he wanted to play Terrorblade, and at this point Terrorblade would have that refresh.
Sure.
So he's just rolling as to here he actually wanted to play Ulu. Still kind of works out. Look at the shove up top. The wave is being pushed by an illusion. Like the Rax is actually being kept away just a bit with a creep wave as well. So someone needs to respond to that top set of Rax as it is being shoved in. And Phoenix is not in position for that. It just takes a little bit of damage, but that's just the split push potential coming through with these Shadow Demon illusions. Just
they run into each other. ZQ, he's going to survive the initial onslaught, but eventually they should be able to take him down, and they will. Nice start. They got the Phoenix, but Roshan's still not up for another 30 seconds. So ZZQ, he will have time to rejoin for the Roshan fight. It is going to be necessary for him to be there. Aster.Aries, they're not moving. They're waiting for that Roshan to respawn. They're thinking any moment now. But they got the coil out. They found the Void Spirit, but a big Doom out as well from Dolme. Catches out the puck. Disruption will save. Ulu, meanwhile, does burst down Yi in the puck. He will eventually go down to Dolme. It is going to be a 1-for-1 on those mid laners. As actually, Phoenix, he doesn't have a buyback. That's going to be a big problem. No buyback on this puck. This Roshan has now respawned. Just had no gold for it.
Yeah, that's gonna be big. Like this just gives you the numbers advantage on Phoenix. They've got the egg for the fight here. So as long as they get a good spot for the egg, it's gonna be hard for Aster.Aries to fight. And no Exto, no Dragon Form just yet.
Getting very aggressive. He just bought back on this Void Spirit, now being chased down. They're trying to buy time for the Roshan to happen, but Yi, he's been caught out again. Bushwhack, though, is going to save the day. Buy him enough time to get the Assimilate out. He does make it out as now a secondary Doom is there. Oh. They've caught out Ulu. They'll burst down the Morphling. He has buyback and he will commit it. They are still trying to chase down this Void Spirit, but he is well and truly out of there. As Aster.Aries, are they really going to try and turn this? I mean, Ulu bought back, they must want to try. Onto Shiro, but the Lincoln Sphere going to block away so much of the damage. Ulu, he just wants the Roshan. He'll go in. It's not really going to be that fast of a Roshan, though.
Yeah, but Phoenix lack the Doom, they lack the Egg, and they might lack the Metamorphosis at this point, so it could be relatively easy for Aster.Aries to actually just have the power to fight here, but even now they're hesitating. Keeping good vision up here from Phoenix. They could look to make a jump, but they've kind of split off, so they understand. Spells are down. Not the best time to fight. They forced a buyback. Much more important for Aster.Aries to pick it up. The safety net for the Morphling's going to be nice, and he even gets the refresh. So even out the refresh orb, he's going to have a shard to potentially go for the back-to-back morphs, shapeshift, the back-to-back usage of Metamorphosis if he does need it in the long fight, and the double shotgun and double E-blade usage can be pretty potent as well. So big spike coming out from Aster.Aries. They are behind by 2k because of those buybacks, and they've got to make that choice now. With Aegis, do we just want to sit back and farm, wait for the buybacks to kind of go off cooldown, or do they press the advantage? For now, looks like Aster.Aries are more than happy to just take it slow and rebuild what they committed in the last fight.
What the last item Shiro goes for here is, like, do you want to go for the Daedalus as well? We're seeing Ulu buying his own Daedalus, and he's actually got it up quite soon. Aghanim Scepter available on Yuna, so 3 charges of the Purge now. Just such a high amount of damage that flies out. Like, you've got a guaranteed 2.1k worth of damage now with those 3 charges. I believe they can go higher with one of the talents. No, never mind, they can't. Still a ridiculous amount of damage.
Yeah, it always scales as well. It's just such a great source of damage. Smoke out from Aster.Aries. High ground held by Phoenix, though. It's going to be a hard approach here.
Smoke gonna be broken, and Phoenix, he's in. Shiro, though, he's ready for it. He's right onto that puck, but he will be able to get away with the disruption, at least for now, but they got the Doom off. He cannot escape. He's gonna drop. He still doesn't have buyback. He did not make the gold for it. Oh, Phoenix Gaming now, they're gonna be able to capitalize off this.
Yeah, that's such a massive mistake. This is a huge opening for Phoenix. They're not the ones holding the Aegis as well. Like, they don't have the Aegis, they don't have that free refresh, but they've got the confidence and power of their Terrorblade. Aster.Aries, they need to make a really good high ground happen, and they don't really have the best defensive heroes here. Like, they just don't have anything to constantly stall out unless they get the illusion spam.
Stun is out, Purge out as well. Ulu going to try and burst down Yi, but Yi is going to be able to make it out with his life intact. They get a tier 3 tower, and that's going to be about it. Still, they walk away with an 8k net worth lead now. Phoenix Gaming, well and truly in the lead of this game. Mind you, it is still anyone's game, but when you look at the TB versus Morphling matchup, in the end, you do tend to start favoring that TB. Shiro, turns out he's getting a refresher orb himself now. So, I mean, why the hell not? Just wants that double meta up. Makes enough sense.
Yeah, just the security of being able to buy back, rejoin a fight, and still have power. I think it's always important for a Terrorblade to have on hand as well. Aster.Aries, they're still pushing for it. They still hold the Aegis and the Morphle, though.
Dome, he wants to pop a Doom. He just doesn't find the target he wanted now. Ulu just moving in, does blow him up. There goes your Doom. Your egg is not going to last too long either, as Ulu does burst that down to boot. Still on the backside, Yi is trying to get some kills going their way, but he's been stunned up now as Ulu chases him down. Aether Remnant to hold him down further, and now there's your Dragon Tail, but the Aeon Disc is going to buy enough time, and Shiro, he'll pop the Refresh Orb and try to fight back. In fact, it was the Refresher Shard? No, it was the Orb. With the meta now, he can try to fight back against his DK, but even he's going to be quite careful with his own life. So they do jump in. Ulu trying to go for this TB. Disarm is there. He cannot attack, and Ulu, he just keeps attacking away with this Morphling. Shiro's dropping very, very low without Sunder, but they do find the Aegis. It just won't matter, though.
No buyback.
He spent all the gold on the Refresher Orb, and there is no buyback on this TB.
Oh, that is... They know. They're going for tier 4.
Yeah.
Shanxie's just focused in. And it's just those snap decisions. Yi calls it. Phoenix. It looked like they turned around. For a while, you know, the game was in Aster.Aries' hands. They were very slightly ahead. Not too far ahead. 1 to 2, 3k lead. They were trading blows, though. Phoenix was still keeping up with the TV, but that one buyout just cost them so much. It felt like when we lost our puck with no buyback, that was big. It was even worse when Phoenix made that blunder. And we've seen several cores do this before, particularly in China as well. Some of those games we casted a year and a half back, just going this way. Hopefully Phoenix can kind of shake off that loss if they want to stay on that road to Romania. Aster.Aries 1 game up, 1 game away from moving on. We'll see if they can carry that momentum. But Phoenix, just that late game decision making to buy that refresh over buyback. It ends games, man. You see your core do that, you can't help but get a bit upset.
What can you do, John? I mean, he had to make a decision. He made it, and obviously it didn't work out for Phoenix Gaming. They still have game 2 to try and revise their strategy and force to a game number 3. With that, we are going to head to a very short break, and right after that break, we'll be back with that game 2 between Aster.Aries and Phoenix Gaming.